So have you ever had that moment where you're sitting there and you realise that actually you're not really getting very much traction with your social media page? This is what happened to me last week, actually, because I had a quick flip through the posts that I'd done last week, and I realised that most of them were actually talking about my podcast and promoting my podcast. And I thought, well, that's all very well, and people do need to know about my podcast. There's lots of helpful information on there. But if you aren't a podcast listener, what is there on my page that would speak to you? And I came to the conclusion that there was nothing. And I just had one of those moments where I just thought, oh, all this effort and it's not really working. And I wonder, do you ever feel like that? Social media does work to get clients. And I know that's quite a controversial thing to say, because a lot of people try social media and find that it doesn't work. Well, for me, for example, in the last week, I've had 2 people contact me to book appointments with me as a result directly of seeing me on social media. I've had direct messages from them booking appointments. I think social media really can work. But it is really difficult to know what to say. So I think one of the solutions that you can use is to use current events and themed days to inspire you. And I'm going to give you some examples for August so that you've got some ideas. But as one little example, it's very, very current. On Saturday, it was National Sleepyhead Day. And I use that to inspire me. And if you haven't seen it, I did a post on my Facebook page, which was, what do you do when you feel sleepy during a counselling session? So this is something that I've experienced as a therapist when I've been sitting in front of clients, that especially if I've had a bad night's sleep, I can start feeling really, really tired and start finding it difficult to concentrate and even sort of start feeling sleepy. So I just put that out as a question because I was inspired by National Sleepyhead Day. And I had, as a result of that, 80 comments. So quite a lot of engagement with that post, because it's something that a lot of people actually share with me, that sense of sleepiness and also that complete horror of not wanting to fall asleep on a client, because clients matter to us. So that's an example of a post that is inspired by a National Awareness Day. So that's what I did on Saturday. And what sort of things could you use? So I'm going to give you some examples for the next week or 2 and throughout the month of August. Now, the first thing I thought about is the Olympics, because that's something that a lot of people are learning about, hearing about, watching and listening. People are talking about the Olympics at the moment. So why not hop into this conversation about the Olympics and give it a lovely therapeutic twist, which demonstrates to people that you're a therapist, that you've got some expertise in the matter, and that you think about this sort of stuff that actually might be quite relevant to them. So I've just been watching the Olympics over the last few days, and here's some different examples. Here's 4 different points that you could use, and I've just got this through watching the Olympics and looking at some of our medalists in the UK. So one of the first things you can talk about is about how the Olympics is a real roller coaster journey, and it's got highs and lows, and that very much is like our lives, and it'll be like the lives of your clients. But in the Olympics, it's even more heightened, and you could actually use this as an example of the therapeutic journey and how there's highs and lows in the therapeutic journey. Now, the person who's been talking about this is actually Kimberly Woods, who won the bronze medal for kayaking, and she didn't win in Tokyo. And as a result of that, her mental health really deteriorated, and she had some battles with her mental health. So I think that would be a great thing for you to talk about, and use Kimberly as an example of someone who is open about talking about her mental health, but also the sort of toll that the Olympics can take on you, and then use that as a metaphor for the emotions that people go through when they need therapy, and how important it is as well to talk about our mental health, the help that's available for people who've got mental health problems like Kimberly. There is so much you could say about it. So that's just one point. You can use the Olympics to talk about that special relationship that a coach has with their coachee. So the person who is actually swimming or diving or whatever in the Olympics. I say swimming because Adam Peaty, there was a really lovely piece of Adam Peaty and his coach, and the coach talking about what it's been like for her as she's been coaching Adam Peaty to get ready for these Olympics. It's really, really interesting and moving. And I think you could use that for how the support that's there for the person who is actually performing, and that is likened, you can liken that rather to the support that a therapist will give their client. Coach was there completely on his side. It was really there for him through all the ups and downs. And I think you can use that as an example of therapy. If you've seen Tom Daley, he won the silver medal for synchronized diving yesterday. And I watched an interview with him where he talked about how it was a goal for him to come back and win a medal for the sake of his son. And I think you could use that example about how goal setting can be really useful for people. So having a goal to set, you can use that talking about how you might work with clients in their goal setting, how having a purpose can really motivate you. So that's Tom Daley. And also something around how important it is to look after yourself and about self-care and recovery. Tom Pidcock, he won the mountain biking gold, and it was saying he's now got to go away and recover because he's got another event coming up in a couple of days' time. So the importance of self-care, and you can talk about that, how important it is to look after you. So there's some ideas that you can use around the Olympics, and I have got some other ideas as well, just to say that you can actually catch up with a lot of these ideas on my podcast, the Good Enough Counsellors podcast. Episode 20 is the one covering August, and I've got episode 24 coming out this week, which is going to be covering September. Not only do I give you ideas about what you can put on your social media, I also talk about all the things that can get in the way of you using social media. I do love using social media. I've got a lot to share with you. So every month in my social media episode, I share some sort of tip in addition to telling you some ideas for what you can do. So very quickly, just to let you know, it is Happiness Happens month in August. And I reckon there's at least 4 themes that you could do around happiness happens. And I'll quickly run through them. You can catch them on the podcast. First, reframing happiness as a journey, not a destination. Second, cultivating happiness, how you go about it. So things like self-care, having good relationships, having a sense of purpose in your life. 3, the obstacles that can get in the way of happiness. So this might be looking at different situations that cause problems and different difficult emotions and how therapy can help with those. And then 4th and finally, happiness and mental health, the things that get in the way, the causes for unhappiness, and again, how therapy can help. So I hope those ideas will inspire you for your social media in August. Do carry on listening to the Good Enough Counsellors podcast. And also, I do have ideas for every day of the week, which I publish in Therapy Growth Group. So if you join Therapy Growth Group, that's another of the benefits that you'll receive, is lots of ideas and then also quite a lot of training on how to use social media to get more clients. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.